Since the collapsed Hanoi summit, U.S. officials continued to up the pressure on the North, saying sanctions on the regime need to be toughened. But Seoul's top nuclear envoy believes such measures alone will not work. Lee Do-hoon has our top story.
Though sanctions can have some effect, Seoul's nuclear envoy Lee Do-hoon says sanctions by themselves cannot fundamentally resolve the North Korean nuclear issue.
North Korea has persisted nuclear development through decades of sanctions and pressure. To believe that stronger sanctions and more pressure alone would make North Korea suddenly give up its entire nuclear program is an illusion.
During his speech at an expert discussion on the Moon administration's Korea Peace Initiative on Thursday, he said efforts to resume dialogue need to be continued, despite skepticism, limited time, and mutual distrust. He also said, though the top-down approach between Pyongyang and Washington is one of the key factors for success, there needs to be more working-level discussions. He said one reason for the collapse of the Hanoi summit is that the officials could not fully fine-tune the core issue of denuclearization and its corresponding measures before taking it to their leaders, so Kim and Trump didn't have enough time to close the gap on the specifics. And once the much-anticipated talks resume, Yi said the two sides must obtain early results, large or small. This is also in line with what the presidential advisor Moon Jung-in said at the discussion, that a priming measure is needed to help build more trust between the two sides.
And I hope the Chairman Kim Jong-un would allow international inspection of Punggye nuclear test site. That would be one of very positive first moves. And I would say that kinds of activities would give a very positive, that kind of activities would send a very positive signal to Washington, D.C. I would argue that the President Trump can reciprocate to North Korea's first moves.
Moon said a partial lift in sanctions, such as giving the green light to inter-Korean projects, like the reopening of the Kaesong Industrial Complex, could be a possible reciprocal measure. But for that to happen, the special advisor said President Moon Jae-in will have to put in a lot of effort to convince the North to agree with a comprehensive agreement and to persuade the U.S. to accept a step-by-step implementation. 이지원, 아리랑 뉴스.